Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tutorials of Tone, Bass Edition. My name is Alex. Thank you so much for watching this video. As you heard in the intro, we're dealing with Whitney Houston today. I Want to Dance with Somebody. If you're playing in a wedding band, cover band, female-fronted band, this is going to be on the set list. And if you're dabbling in bass, whether you're an official bass player in your band, or maybe you're a guitar player with a Fractal rig and you want some new tones, this is a great way to achieve that. It's a synth bass on the original recording, so we're taking our E-bass into key bass territory. Let's dive into how we do that. For this song, we are using my stock synth bass preset. This is available in the bass pack on the Gumroad store, if you want to check that out, or let's dial in all the specs here, get the tone for yourself. So, first up, on this song-specific preset, we have our input block. Everything here is at stock settings, except the threshold of our gate is at negative 47.5 dB. That's where I like having it for my Morris Music Man guitar, and it's sort of a holdover. However, I am using a Man Bongo 5-string for all of these recordings, for all of my bass gigs, and for this particular instance, I am using more of the bridge pickup and rolling down the treble. If you have a passive bass, you may have to tweak these settings accordingly. Moving into the next part of our tone, getting our E-bass into key bass territory, we have our fuzz. This changes the waveform from a sine wave to something a little bit more sawtooth or triangle wave, something a little harsher and a little more synthetic. As you can see, the drive is turned down, the tone is turned up just a hair, and our level is set to accommodate. In the tone, we just have a little bit of a low cut and quite a drastic high cut for the fuzz, really focusing on those bass frequencies. Nothing to speak of in our graphic EQ, and nothing shifted in our advanced tab. Next up in the chain, we have our octave divider. We are going down one octave, and we are set to a 50% mix. So we have half that octave down and half of our standard sound. We've got a significant low cut of 120 Hertz and a 10K high cut. Our detector source is set to input 1, so it's reading the direct correspondence with the bass, not all of the blocks that precede it, which would be block in. This is important whenever you use something with pitch tracking, and you can get the most out of your original playing without compromising that with previous blocks in the chain. From our octave pedal, we're going into our filter, our envelope filtered sound, to get that nice 80s synth thing happening. We're using a combination of a wah and a filter block for this. First up, our crybaby. We're using the wah to get a little bit of that envelope filtered envelope follower. And we have our wah dialed in at 565 Hertz to 1373 for our frequency range. We have a modifier on our control set to be an envelope follower, so it's reading the attack of our bass playing, and this is set in reverse, so our toe is down, and then as we play, it goes to the heel. Which gives us that gout, gout, gout instead of wah sort of sound. In order to get the most out of your envelope follower, you're going to need to head to your controllers menu, select Envelope Manual tab, and set your threshold accordingly. You may need to change the gain depending on your bass, but the higher up the threshold, the more toe you're going to have. Sounds a little bit more like a grindy sort of Chris Squire or Lemmy thing. And if you take that down, you're going to get more of the heel. Just more of a throaty sort of sound. I like having this just above negative 30 dB. This is coupled with our low pass filter. This allows us to have anything under 1K, specifically from about the 500 and below range, to bleed through. And we blend those together to get a nice composite of clean DI bass and our wad thing, so that we can have a little bit more fundamental than you would just running the pedal, and we can hear what that sounds like without it. As you can hear right there, that made all of the difference, having something that just bleeds in low end. We are bass players on this gig, after all. From there, we're running everything into the front end of an SVT bass head. These are my pretty stock settings for all of my bass gigs. Everything is pretty moderate here. Very neutral settings, just a little south of noon, a little north of noon, and a little bit of gain. In our input EQ, we just have a 10K roll-off for this particular tune, but our output EQ is engaged with the Dave LaRue hump. This is a great way to just stick out in the mix and to be heard not just as a bass player, but as a functional single-line instrument. We're running all of that into a pair of SVT bass cab IRs with an 810 and then a 410 mic with an M88. In our preamp tab, we have a 60 Hz roll-off at a 12 dB slope and a 10K high cut at a 6 dB slope to just get rid of some of the excess on either side of the spectrum. Now, something I haven't mentioned in this video yet, the chorus block. This really adds that dimension that we were talking about in the E-Bass to Keybase video that just really changes the sonic characteristic of this tune and this tone in particular. Chorus in the 80s, peanut butter and jelly, man. Having this thing dialed in is huge. So, with that, we have this sound. And without it. Bring it back now, y'all. As you can hear, it adds this subtle modulation, this 80s thing, which the original keyboard synth did have on it. And we run all of that into a medium room reverb at 20% mix, just to give us a little extra squish. Especially for board recordings and live recordings that you may have, maybe even at a rehearsal. This just keeps things a little less sterile, a little more vibrant, but it's not too overbearing as you are playing in a live room with natural reverb. That about does it for I Wanna Dance with Somebody, and the song-specific preset that you now have access to with your favorite bass. This is so much fun to play live, and I hope you get a chance to do this on your next dance, wedding, bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah gig, or just a female-fronted gig. Super, super fun to play, and I hope you all enjoy it. If you do enjoy this video, there are plenty more throughout the channel that you can check out. Fractal 101s, tutorials of tone, gear reviews, playthroughs, lessons, etc. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you all next time.